All right, everyone, welcome to Identity Development Team John Doe. I'm Dana Barnard, and I'm the Assistant Director of Student Life here at Eastern. And I work with our different leadership initiatives to kind of get all of our groups a little more organized and kind of get everybody rolling and make their RSOs more successful. There's a couple things we do with our session. One, we don't want them just to be for RSOs, so we do try to make them applicable to you as an individual in case you're not here representing an RSO. And then our other focus is to give you some tips and things that you can work with your RSO or registered student organization, okay? So what we're gonna start out first, and what I always like to know is who I'm working with. So who's here? And in your introduction tonight, include who you are, so that's the individual component, what organization you're representing, and what position you have. And I believe we've got a couple starting RSOs in here this evening. So even if you're not fully registered, like if you kind of already assumed a position with the group or whatever, share that with us. So we'll start with Sean. Each of you listed off who you are and some of your credentials. So I heard founder, I heard president, I heard secretary, I heard community service chair, I heard up and coming, all those different types of things. So you were giving off some of your credentials. Okay, what you have here is the picture is Elizabeth II, so the Queen of Great Britain, and her crest. These are some of her credentials, and though I don't know exactly how to break all of these different things down, all of these symbols in here represent something with Queen Elizabeth's family and her heritage and her lineage to the royal family. Okay, so some of what you guys just shared are your credentials, not only as an individual on campus, but credentials of your organization and representation to that organization, okay? You guys kind of see how that goes in and how those credentials are an identifier for you or for your group, okay? So next, who are you? And I picked another shield. I don't really know anything about it, but I thought it was kind of interesting. Who are you? So what we're going to do, we're going to take a couple minutes. We're going to be arts and craftsy while we're here tonight. And everybody's shield right now looks exactly the same because I picked one off the good old internet. Google, by the way, is today's birthday for Google. And so now we need to make these different because as you guys just shared, you all have some different credentials. Right? So and I come complete with services. So just take some and pass them because I don't want to. There's Crayolas, there are markers, and I borrowed these from another colleague, so we do need to make sure we aren't distracted. But as you are creating your crest, your shield, think about some things of what are your values. What are your morals? What are your goals? And what do you want your identity to be? When you look back at some of these different crests, these things all simplify different things. Like the designs here, though I don't know anything about Salon, these mean something. The coloration means something. The fact that there are diamonds and there are lines means something. The shield up here, there's a medal. All of those types of things mean something for these individuals. So I'm going to give you about 5-ish minutes. You don't have to complete yours if you're a perfectionist, but at least try to get some things going as to what would be on your shield. And we are going to talk about them. So if you want some personal things on there, try to focus on some of the things that you are willing to share. Okay? So that takes us back to the thing of we've got at least 5, maybe 6 different organizations announced and represented in this room. And what is the potential for there being some similarities there? Okay? So we're going to go to the next slide. Identifying, that's supposed to say your organization. Got in a little bit of a hurry. So when you look at your organizations, okay, one of the things before you can try to set your organization apart from somebody else is you need to know about your organization. So what is your organization value? what is your purpose on campus? Okay? If you're going to be an organization on campus, you need to have a purpose for campus, okay? And then, what is the mission statement of your group? Do you know why you're here, why you were developed? Okay? When you look at these two crests that are up here, is there anything different about them?
One's bolder than the other.
One's bolder.
Yeah, it's more like.
The one on the right is bigger than the one on the left.
Okay, one's bigger than the other.
One has more detail than the other.
More
One's
detail.
just plain.
Yeah, that one has a little line, whatever. Okay. That's it.
Anybody notice how they curve differently?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Something very easy to miss, but they curve. This one comes at a higher point than that one. This one has a softer top than that one. Okay? So when you look at some things, though they look fairly similar, and if you just looked at a quick glance, you may identify them as the same two crests, okay? But when you really stop and you look at it, you're like, well, this one's got some writing on the paper, this one's got this, that. When you look at your organizations, that's kind of the same place you're going. So, since you all nicely sat with your pairs, what I want you guys to do now, and another lovely sheet, you get one sheet, and with the other people representing your group, based on the values and the mission statement and your campus purpose, create a shield for your organization. And ideally, one of the things that you guys can do while you're here is potentially take this back and share it with your other executive board members and say, this is how we identify our organization. This is what we see. And one of the questions you need to ask is this what we want other people to see? So feel free, converse. We're going to take about another 5 or 6 minutes. Let you all work on this. I need to hear some side chatter though. Need to see some group involvement because it is a team effort. So don't just let one person take it away. Did I give you guys an opportunity? You have looked at some of your group, you've looked at your individual identity, you've looked at your group identity, and kind of the values and your purpose on campus. So now you have to set yourself apart, okay? So when you look at yourself as an individual, all of you have your family, this fun little multicolored drawing over here, that's your family. But all of you, though you're part of them, you share DNA with them, all of that kind of stuff, in some way you are different from them, okay? You share some names with them and all that kind of stuff, but you're different. And then the other question is, how do you differ from your friends? We've got two little people over here, though they have some similarities, they're also very different from one another. So when you're looking at your individual life, you've got a lot of people around you. Just in this room, when you guys were talking about some of your individual identity, there was some repetition, or maybe not something that you remembered to put on your crest, but as you were sitting there and somebody else was sharing, you're like, man, I should have included that. And so when you look at that, there's a lot of times where we as individuals overlap. So kind of expected that with your student organizations, there's going to be some overlapping as well. So how do you make your organizations mark? Okay, so you're not the only sorority on campus. How many other sororities are there on campus?
13. No, 7. What is it?
No, there's 13.
There's 13.
Yeah.
13.
13 other sororities, okay? And then you've also got some other social organizations, like you've got this Curvy Ladies group that's starting. You've got ESA, which is a all-service, still sorority, things like that. So several organizations that, I don't want to say you're all necessarily competing for the exact same membership, but are all geared towards women and doing things with women. So how do you set yourself apart? Okay? When you have a group like the snowboarding club team, not sure which direction you're going with that, but how do you set yourself apart from some of the other club teams, organizations? You know, I understand snowboarding is different than maybe lacrosse or rugby or, you know, some of those different things, but how do you draw from the same group of athletic people to get them attracted to your group, especially when there's not snow here all the time, you know? So how do you sell that attraction and get them to you guys? How do you all sell that attraction when there are many cultural groups on campus? There's over 20 some cultural organizations on campus. So how do you say, come to us, come learn about what we're sharing, come be passionate about us, okay? So something that you have to look at is implementing your mission statement and your purpose, okay? How are you really implementing that on campus, okay? Now, we all know if you walked into a room for an organization and you were looking at joining and somebody got up in the front of the room and read you the mission statement, are you going back next week? No. What can you do to implement your mission statement and your purpose, but still get people excited about your group? Okay, but if this is my first time, I'm coming to your meeting, first time, I'm brand new to campus, transfer, freshman, whatever, and I don't know you from the next person I'm sitting next to, how are you gonna show me that you're being honest? Like, what is that catch? Because even still, I may be like, wow, that's pretty amazing, but I don't know, I don't know you. How are you gonna catch me? What are you gonna show me about your group's mission statement and your purpose as to why I should jump into your group? Those are some very good ideas, but putting your mission statement into action, I think, is a very important one. And like today, I didn't just stand up here and talk to you all. I had you guys get creative. I had you guys work on some things and kind of get your wheels turning the best I can in kind of a workshop seminar series. So give them something to do that's going to implement your mission statement. If you're a service-driven group, get them to do service with you. Have something service-oriented in the room that they can do. For you guys with your snowboarding, have some different snowboards there for them to look at. Show them different video, things like that, and how you're going to implement some of those things. Kind of the same with you all. Have short clips of what some of those videos are and prompt some of that discussion so that you're carrying out what your mission statement and purpose is right there in that room, okay? Have some clear goals and have some ways to share that with your group, okay? Because you want to reach your goals and you also want to define your group. So kind of giving and sharing those goals are going to help you make your organization's mark. Okay, ideas. One of the ways that you're going to do best in labeling your organization, getting it identified, and not just being another multicultural group or another club team for campus or just another sorority, is you need original events. And I can't stress this enough. If there are 14 forums on relationships that happen in the month of February, how many people are going to attend them? Your group. Because if Curvy Ladies know that they're doing a relationship forum and the Asian cinema group's doing Asian relationship movies and discussion, and Sigma Lambda Gamma is doing something on relationships, and snowboarding group's doing something on relationships and being in athletic components, just go with me, guys. Like the ladies from the Curvy Ladies group, they're going to go to their forum. The snowboarding people are going to go to their forum. Sigma Lambda Gamma ladies are going to go to theirs. Everybody is going to go to their own forum, and you're not going to get any extras. Okay, so that breaks up some of your potential for recruitment. So when you get 5 of the same event going on in 1 month, you don't have anybody to draw from. There's one campus, and though some of you have specific target audiences, you have to remember at all times you're sharing that specific target audience. So original events, okay? And what traditions do you have for your group, okay? When you are starting events on campus and you think they're going to be big, how are you going to sell them? First annual, da-da-da-da-da-da. Because what is that doing? It's making your group need to do that event next year, okay? Because somebody's going to be feel obligated and be like, well, we always do that. First annual, second annual, 41st annual. A group that I advised and I inherited 3 years ago has a program that's 41 years in the running, okay? One of the longest traditions on this campus, okay? So one of the things that you have to look at is how are you making history at EIU? What are you making traditional part of your group? For you guys, it may be that every year you take a trip to Colorado or somewhere where there's going to be snow that you guys can actually actively compete, do those types of things, and the trip is always at this time, and it's the 3rd annual, the 15th annual time we've done this, okay? Maybe for you guys, it's a film festival that you do, and it's always the same weekend of the same month every year, whatever, however. But when you're planning these events, a lot of times our student groups look at them and say, oh, well, we're just gonna do this forum, okay? Well, is that forum something that's gonna apply next year? Is it gonna apply in 15 years? Is this something that we could turn into a tournament that we name after somebody important or get sponsorship for, okay? What can you make as a tradition for your organization, okay? Because traditions identify you, okay? Original events identify you, okay? That's where people get to know you, okay? Somebody may not know that a certain group holds an event, but they know about the event, okay? Pep rally on campus. Happens every year during homecoming. Who hosts that? Does anybody know?
University Board of Student Government.
University Board,
Good job.
okay?
Swear.
University Board does all your homecoming stuff, but it happens every year. Some of you have probably been. Some of you are probably planning on Yell Like Hell teams or Who Wants to Be a Mascot to participate. Did you even know where it was coming from? So those things that you have to work on when you're setting up your original events and your traditions, make sure you're branding yourself and your identity, okay? Curvy Ladies presents. Sigma Lambda Gamma presents, okay? When you get to that event, Sigma Lambda Gamma would like to welcome you this evening too, da-da-da-da-da, okay? Especially when it's an event for people other than your members. Sell your organization. Let them know you're proud of your event and your tradition, okay? Now, don't make this mistake. Not every event should be a tradition, okay? So if you do 2 or 3 events a month, they shouldn't all become traditions because at some point you're not going to be able to handle it, okay? So think about that as well. And when you're really looking at events, you need to ask yourself, is it original? Purpose? Okay? Reflect back to yourself. Meeting involvement, keep your members involved. Keeping your members involved creates mouths that then talk on campus about your organization. If I leave your meeting excited, I'm gonna go tell my friend Alex, man, you should come check this meeting out with me next week. These groups were so amazing, like, you would have so much fun, okay? If I leave that meeting and I'm like, when I go eat dinner with Alex, are we gonna talk about that? No. Am I gonna admit to Alex that I went to that meeting? No. Because it was boring. And so the next week when she's like, hey, I heard about this, you wanna go? No. I went last week, you know? So you have to remember that. Impressions, I mean, though you shouldn't always remember a first impression, give people more chances, your meetings, your involvement, your events, and your traditions are your identity. They are your impression on campus, okay? If I come once and I don't leave with an impression that's positive, I'm not coming back. Not only am I not coming back, I'm not talking about you. You want me to leave and you want me to talk about you, okay? You don't want me to leave and be like, that's the restaurant you never go back to because I got bugs in my food, okay? Don't be the buggy organization. Do you have a question, Rose?
Yeah, how do you do with a leader that doesn't want to change things, or doesn't want to make their group appeal to everyone, to other people?
I think that's when you sometimes have to turn to your constitution and see if there's a procedure to potentially get rid of that person, if they're violating, like, if they're not doing everything that they're being asked to do. And that goes back to making sure that you have a strong constitution with a mission and a purpose and how you run your organization. Because then if you don't have that, it's also going to be hard to start the identification process and not just being another organization. But I think the other thing at that point too is consulting your advisor and seeing how they can help you. Okay. All right, that turns us to the questions, comments, and concerns portion. Does anyone have any additional questions about identifying your group? All right, if you all would take a moment and fill out this evaluation for me, I would greatly appreciate it. Feel free to take your crests. Hopefully some of you can share them with your groups. I do need the markers and crowns back. As I said, I borrowed those. We will be doing our next iLead workshop. Is it next Tuesday, Alex? Next Tuesday. I will not be presenting next week, so for those of you who came back just to see me again, I appreciate it. I will be here. I will be here, but I will not be presenting. But our topic is successful events equal, no, budget.
It's fundraising.
It's
I think
essentially-
it's successful events, but it's about fundraising.
Yeah, it's successful events equal money. Let's just put it that way. And so we're gonna talk to you next week about good fundraising ideas and how to work with things like that. Yes, ma'am.
What was the name of the presentation?
Identity development. Or Team John Doe, whichever. It'll all work